Once, in a dark and mysterious realm, there lived 7 princes of hell, each representing a powerful sin. The first prince was named Pride. Pride believed he was the greatest of them all, standing tall with a shining golden crown. He loved to admire his reflection and expected everyone to bow before him. Pride often boasted about his intelligence and strength, claiming that no one could ever surpass him. One day, Pride decided to build a grand palace made of mirrors, so he could always see his glorious self. He ordered the other demons to work tirelessly, never thanking them for their efforts. But as the palace grew taller, Pride grew more careless. He ignored the warnings of a coming storm, convinced that nothing could bring down his creation. When the storm finally arrived, the strong winds shattered the mirrors into thousands of pieces. Pride stood in the ruins, staring at his broken reflection. For the first time, he realized that his arrogance had blinded him. Though he remained proud, a small seed of humility was planted in his heart. The second prince was Envy. Unlike Pride, Envy never felt good enough. He watched the other princes with jealous eyes, wishing he had what they possessed. Whenever Pride shone in his golden crown, Envy felt a deep ache in his chest, longing for the same admiration. One day, Envy found a magical mirror that revealed the deepest desires of those who gazed into it. Hoping to feel better, he peered into the glass. To his horror, the mirror showed only shadows of others, never his own image. Envy realized that by constantly comparing himself to others, he had forgotten his own worth. Though the pain lingered, Envy began to understand that true happiness couldn't be stolen from someone else. The mirror vanished, leaving him with a quiet lesson in his heart. The third prince was Wrath. He was a fiery spirit, always quick to anger and slow to forgive. Wrath's temper was like a raging storm, ready to strike at the slightest insult. One day, Wrath challenged a mighty dragon, believing he could defeat it with his fiery rage. The battle shook the earth and lit up the sky with flames. But the dragon was clever and patient. It dodged Wrath's attacks, waiting for the prince to tire. Eventually, Wrath's flames dimmed, and he fell to his knees. The dragon approached, not with anger, but with understanding. It whispered that true strength lies not in fury, but in control. Wrath bowed his head, realizing that his anger had only made him weak. The fourth prince was Sloth, who loved nothing more than to sleep and avoid hard work. Sloth's castle was quiet and peaceful, filled with soft pillows and warm blankets. One day, a great tree began to grow in the heart of his castle, its roots cracking the stone. Sloth watched, too lazy to stop it. Slowly, the castle crumbled around him until only the tree remained. Sloth sat beneath its branches, feeling the weight of his inaction. As he rested, he realized that while rest is important, doing nothing can lead to ruin. With a yawn and a stretch, Sloth stood up, ready to take his first steps towards change. The fifth prince was Greed, who desired all the riches in the world. His vaults overflowed with gold and jewels, but it was never enough. One day, Greed heard of a golden apple hidden deep within a labyrinth. He ventured inside, blinded by his desire. The deeper he went, the darker it became, until he was lost in the shadows. In the silence, Greed realized that his endless hunger for more had left him empty. When he finally found his way out, he vowed to cherish what he had, rather than chasing what he didn't. The sixth prince was Gluttony, who loved food above all else. His grand halls were filled with endless feasts, but no matter how much he ate, he was never satisfied. One day, he stumbled upon a magical fruit that promised eternal satisfaction. Greedily, he devoured it, only to find himself feeling even emptier than before. In his sadness, he realized that true satisfaction comes not from how much you have, but from savoring each moment. Gluttony learned to appreciate the flavors of life, one bite at a time. The seventh prince was Lust, who longed for beauty and admiration. He charmed everyone he met, but his heart was never truly content. One day, he met a kind soul who saw past his charms and into his lonely heart. For the first time, Lust felt seen and accepted for who he truly was. He realized that love and connection couldn't be forced or faked. From that day on, Lust sought to build real bonds, learning the value of honesty and trust. Finally, there was Lucifer, the leader of the seven princes. Once the brightest of all angels, Lucifer's pride led him to fall from grace. But even in the darkness, Lucifer cared for his brothers. He guided them through their struggles, teaching them that even in the shadows, there is light. Together, they ruled not with fear, but with understanding, each prince embracing the lessons they had learned. And so, the seven princes of hell found a new purpose, watching over their realm with wisdom and compassion. Like for more videos like these,